So let's talk about background checks. Testing a background check website is easy for me because I've seen every single scam site that exists. Every one of them says that they'll look up dirt on your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend or significant other or your boss or whatever. They're all lying, but here's the basic test. You do a background check on yourself. First step to doing this is very similar to the first part of this video. You go to the police department and say, I want to do a background check on myself so that I can use it for housing. If you don't want to do it, if I'm in the wrong department, send me where I can get this done to do a full, deep background check, including accusations and any blotches that might be on my record. It's for housing. I'm avoiding the $40 fee. I happen to be in a state where you can say, here's my background check. Well, we have to have you pay for it. No, you don't, because it's against the law, you asshole. I've done that to a couple of places. They don't like it because they want the money, and then they want to sell your data. They're not doing a background check. They're just collecting your information and selling it. That's why the background checks always just show where you've applied to get a house at. That's it. So you also do your credit report check, which is really what they're checking. And you make sure that you have all the information right. And once you've done that, look for everything in it that's a false accusation or a false mark and challenge it. 90% of the time, the challenged information will be removed from official sources. Then you create another copy of it. And you put in the money and time. Every 5, maybe 10 years, do this. And then you use that for a really obvious thing. Prove you're innocent of what I'm accusing you of. And the answer is, I'm not showing you my file. Because you never do that. Now, why do people do this kind of crap over the internet where they show up and accuse you of that thing? You already know what it is. If you don't know what it is, ask someone in the room who's more conscious. What is the first thing? It's the go-to thing everybody gets accused of on the internet. It's always the same thing. We can't say it anymore on YouTube because literally Google and YouTube have gotten fed up with people using that word that they're no longer allowing you to make videos concerning the subject, even when it's legitimate. The AI routine just decides you said the word, it's done. You have to censor every video on it. Even if it's in the news, even if you just show the news, you have to remove the letters from those characters. Even the initialism has to be removed. Now, why is this happening? Why do people make these accusations? Because it's instantly, for safety reasons, people, better safe than sorry, will assume you're guilty until proven innocent, which is the exact backwards of how it's supposed to work. You're a witch. Let's burn her to find out. If she burns, then she's a human. Or whatever. If they don't drown, they're a witch. Okay. So the whole point of this is, it's not the accusation and conviction and fact. It's intimidation. This is an intimidation tactic. Along with, again, why a scope? Dude, go to the range and practice more. So what caused this? I challenged someone's assertion that global warming is caused exclusively by cycles within the solar system and not caused by us. That's like telling a flat earth that the earth isn't flat. They will immediately go for death threats or threaten to, expose you for something they made up out of their ass. Even if it has to be a fantasy world thing like the Illuminati. The Bavarian Illuminati was murdered out of existence a long time ago. Even the people who did it won't even acknowledge they did it. Okay, I understand that, but no, that's what happened. They're all dead. They were murdered. But the balloon naughty, you know about those. Go look up balloon knot. It's euphemism. You know about them. You might know a balloon naughty. So, why do people make this accusation? It's because it has an effect and it has no consequences, unless you follow it up with a death threat. So where did this accusation against me come from? The actual source for it. A person who's guilty of what they were accusing me of. And I'm part of the reason this person went to jail originally for 5 years, then got out on a parole duration of 20 years. That's really extraordinary. And then almost immediately went back to jail because of setting up a YouTube account and commenting under one of my videos about how I was going to be harmed. And I didn't know at the time, but it's the same person who set up 300 impersonator accounts, at least. Or maybe less, I don't know. There are a bunch of other people who did almost identically the same thing. One of them in Spain, one of them in Arizona, but he only did it once, so I guess that's a pass. One of them in Brisbane or Sydney, Australia. I don't know which one it is. That's Dracula, we called him. These individuals went after anybody who contradicted them talking about the end of the world, because talking about end of the world scenarios on YouTube made a lot of money. They would put up videos saying that a comet's going to hit the planet any day now, we're all going to die. And it would leak into conspiracy theory people and overly religious people and people with issues in their life they couldn't solve, so this was their copium. And that's big business, it still is. And those channels, if you're not aware of it, eventually ended up with all of them, going back to having to earn a real living because they didn't get enough money out of it, I guess. And all of them got visited by the cops for doing death threats. All of them were visited. And I'm not guilty. I'm not the person who actually called the police on them most of the time. But if you do death threats to 600 or more people, just random people on the internet, you're going to eventually get visited by the cops. You know that, right? You're not truly anonymous. This is when we all found out that YouTube and Google keeps metadata about everybody and knows where everybody is. They know everything about you. The idea is to prevent that from happening. So anyway, let's review. How to get a good background check. Use the police. That's it. You got to submit the paperwork and do the hard work. Next, you tell them, just direct me to where it will get done quicker and or I'll be out of the way. I don't want to waste your time, but I need to do a background check on me, not anybody else. I have proof it's me. Okay? You're going to need the same information you would need to be able to get your own ID and more. You want to bring in everything. You want to bring in your college and maybe high school records with you to prove it's really you. Bring a yearbook. I did. Apparently it was in the yearbook. I tried to avoid getting a photo, but they put me in anyway. Apparently it was a challenge, I guess, for them. But I brought that in. Now, but why? Because you have proof that there's never been a conviction or accusation of any kind. Accusations are important before the date that was done. And if you keep doing it every 4 or 5 years, you can keep them. And again, on your credit report, you keep the one that has the least amount of crap on it. That's the most recent. And keep your nose clean. Just don't do anything illegal. It's pretty simple. So, if any of you are still watching and care, no, there isn't any record of me committing any crimes. I'm guilty of committing crimes, definitely. But I don't even have accusations because the crimes I committed were things like, I want you to break into this bank system. Okay, but I'm in the bank and they're paying me to do it. Same thing, there was a bounty by the CIA. Can you break into this computer? We're testing it. Sure, I didn't get the bounty, but I got, mentioned, which I requested be taken down. They didn't use my real name. And they wondered, why won't you give us your real name? And it's like, you're the CIA. Why the fuck would we give you tell me my name. You know me better than me. And they found out hackers were able to keep them from finding out anything because that's our job. And it should be your job. The other reason you do a background check on yourself is to find all the false accusations all these websites have. Once you've done this, you contact each one of them and say, I'm going to take you to court for producing information about me that's false. Nothing else. I'm not going to drop the case, and this is going to happen with lots and lots of people doing this. And you're going to lose every single case, and this will cost a huge amount of money. Or you can just stop posting it. Now they have disclaimers. People like you, me, and everybody else who ever found out we were lied about on these websites, which is most of them, because they didn't have data, they just faked it. We're the reasons those websites have a disclaimer saying all sorts of things. But one of the things they say is if any of this information is wrong, you can get it removed for free because they used to charge you money. They'd tell a lie about you and then make you pay them to remove it. Bad. But again, you get the police to do it. You got your background check. It's valid that date backwards. There's no accusations or anything you can find. If you find something in there false, actually pay a public defender to do it. It's a public defense thing. Have them confirm whether or not there was ever any merit to it. If there's no merit, ask that it be removed because it's damaging to someone's reputation. And if there's no basis for it, it's by definition a false accusation. This is simple. And you can go through legal aid or whatever in your area to do it. If you're over the age of 18, do it now. Yes, it will contain information about you that's not supposed to be there because you were under 18. It doesn't matter. You have to go through the effort to clear it.